just when you thought it was safe to turn on YouTube. Kung Fu Hot Dog.
Akbar now. I've been Akbar for about 6 years. And so I said, the forest moon of Endor, woman, it's a trap. You know, all power to the forward shield. And I was not really thrilled about how they blew him out the side of the ship. I'm like, who's this Holdo woman? Nobody knows this. There's no one's invested in that. Who is she? Why is she saving the fleet? If anyone's going to save the fleet, it'd be out.
All right, let's just real quick. Let's talk about Clone Wars. How cool?
Why do I have such a gleeful manner about me today? Well, it's only April 2023, but looking back at Hollywood, what they're bringing out this year, nothing really gets my boat floating, if you get my drift. Hello. But when it comes to the matriarchy, still proving their insufferable point that they're going to be the dominating rulers of the box office in Hollywood.
The next half hour.
She brings you.
Let's cast your mind back to January, where we had the wonderful Miss Ella Balinska. You remember her from the really bad, terrible remake or the reboot of Charlie's Angels? That wasn't a real gun you were holding, was it, Ella? More like a kiddie's version, because let's face it, all those gym sessions, all the posing for the camera, didn't really pay off, did it? Now, she was the headline star for a PlayStation 5, a Microsoft release of Forspoken, or as I love to affectionately call it, Foreskin. It was such a terribly received game before its release. I even predicted it would be really, really horrible. The gameplay was awful. The specs that your PC had to be to accommodate those 2003 graphics were just a joke. And in the end, there were so many of the copies were consigned to a landfill, or several landfills, which I thought was hilarious. As this one user on Twitter said, no game deserves this fate. But when it comes to Forspoken, I think it absolutely deserved to get everything it did. You know why? Because when you see the marketing, you see the look of the character.
No lixo, cara, os steelbooks do jogo. Olha que vergonha. Tá maluco. Você percebe que o jogo foi um fracasso quando a GameStop do shopping que você trampa joga no lixo, cara, os steelbooks do jogo. Olha que vergonha. Tá maluco, cara. Esse jogo foi um flop desgraçado.
You know it's marketed for a specific audience. It certainly isn't me. But then again, if you're saying that your player base of color out there feel alienated, feel rejected, well, that's completely misguided. In fact, have you played Mafia 3? You get to be the black version of the Punisher in 1960s racial America, and it's pretty brutal and a lot of fun. What else do we have? Of course, the announcement from Disney that the Little Mermaid has had a bit of a makeover. She wasn't going to be a drag queen. That role has been vacated and replaced with the one and only Melissa McCarthy. Oh my God, I can't wait. And is it my imagination, or is Miss McCarthy, has she lost a bit of weight recently? I mean, so much for being fat, cuddly and cutie and supposed to be like everybody's favorite comedy darling, but now she's trying to fit in, I guess. Well, maybe that last dress that she wore didn't really quite work out, did it? But yeah, the Little Mermaid, who might as well at this stage be the adopted Little Mermaid, considering her father, Triton, is played by Javier Bardem. So yeah, why don't you just give us somebody like Xiaomon Honzu, who could have been perfect for that part? But then again, did anybody ask for a live action version of The Little Mermaid? Of course not. So That's going to be another failure coming out of the box office. And I guarantee you as well that when we get the red carpet talks about that, what's the topic of conversation going to be? Oh, you got it. Oh, what's this Ariel version going to be like? Is she going to be empowering? Is she going to appeal to black women all over the world? Because, again, it's not about appealing to certain demographics, Disney, Hollywood. It's all about appealing to everybody. And of course, well, you can't escape her. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Now, horror upon horror, when I watched the recent Indiana Jones 5 trailer, I honestly thought we were going to see less of Fleabag herself and more of my boy Harrison Ford and his big massive whip, and I said whip there ladies, and his classic iconic fedora. But what do we get? It seemed to be like a 50-50 mix of both. Phoebe Waller as Helena the goddaughter.
Well, in that case, what are we drinking?
Same for the goddaughter.
Dad told me.
Why are you chasing the thing?
Please get out of here. Sorry. And I stole it. It's called capitalism. Chances. Final triumph.
I've seen things.
Father.
Finish her! Flawless victory.
I mean, that scene where Dr. Jones says, get my goddaughter a drink. Cyanide! Cyanide! And then we can enjoy the rest of the film. But unfortunately, it seems like Helena is the female version of the Scarlet Pimpernel. You see her there. You see her here. You see her everywhere. She doesn't stop. She's like a female Terminator. Not you, Kristana Loken, because I rather quite like you. She never stops. It seems that trailer never stops. I can't get it out of my head. It was an absolutely very mid trailer. Which now brings me on to the other subject of today's discussion, which is, of course, Ahsoka, or Asshooker, as I like to refer to her. Rosario Dawson has one of the most kissable mouths in Hollywood. I've always liked Miss Dawson. She is just so dreamy.
I wanna kiss you all over
And over and again.
And even more bizarre, the beautiful Rosario Dawson's lovely features are covered up in this garish makeup of her character because, wait for it, we've got to avert the male gaze. Okay, thanks a lot for that.
Dun, dun, dun. To the night closes in. To the night closes in.
And of course, I haven't watched Alexander yet, but apparently she kind of gets topless in that movie, so I don't know what's the matter with me. I do need to watch that film in a hurry. But, of course, this is Star Wars. What did we have before the Ahsoka announcement? That, of course, Daisy Ridley, Miss Big Head herself, the Lollipop Woman, is coming back in a sequel to 2019's The Rise of Palpatine. Did anybody walk away from that film thinking that was the best thing since sliced bread? No. No, no, no. And then, of course, The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 6, Lizzo, aka the lost cousin of Jabba the Hutt, turns up on set with Jack Black in what, as some people are referred to as being an SNL skit, or very badly filmed fan-made project. It seemed to be that way to me. I didn't know. I can't unsee it. Lizzo. Yes, I knew her through Juice. And apparently, this is the same chick. I cannot believe this is true. That she contacted Chris Hemsworth on direct messaging because she was really horny for the dude. And I'll say this much. Lizzo has about as much chance with Chris Hemsworth as I do with Hayley Atwell or Anna Diarmas. So without further ado, folks, let's watch the Ahsoka trailer, Frankenhooker, which is an absolutely amazing B-movie, and have a good laugh.
Something's coming.
And it's certainly not me.
Something dark.
Then again, it could be me.
I sense it.
So why do they speak with this slow cadence? Something's coming, something dark. I sense it. It is so pretentious. I blame The Mandalorian for this cadence of speech. It's so... Come on, guys. You can do better than this. And Lucasfilm has suddenly become vampiric? What the hell?
This is a new beginning.
That's meant to be Sabine, and she looks okay, I suppose. Pretty good looking.
For some, war. For others,
Ray Stevenson!
power.
So he's a white dude. I love Ray Stevenson. If you ever seen him as the Punisher, oh boy. But I'm betting you he's the bad guy in this, and he's the toxic white man, so, well, I'm not surprised. This summer...
It's been a while. Things have changed. I started hearing whispers.
Oh no, it's this chick! Oh no! From Andor!
About Thrawn's return.
Giancarlo
Heir to the
Esposito!
Empire.
Poor Ray. Doesn't he look great with a beard, actually? They should get him to play Santa Claus this year.
We have to prepare for the worst. The Jedi fell a long time ago. There aren't many left.
She's not a Jedi.
To begin again.
Woo. Well, look at that. 25,000 dislikes, 257,000 upvotes. Are people really clamoring for Ahsoka? Now, if we take a look at the lore between Ahsoka Tano, she actually left the Jedi Order in its waning years. You mean when Kathleen Kennedy was given the keys to the Lucas Kingdom and completely ruined it? A victim of a conspiracy depicted in the Clone Wars animated series. So her true status now is a mystery. It's a mystery. Ooh, wee, wee. As she was never properly knighted and never rose to the rank of Padawan. Oh boy. Oh no. Look at Collider. Oh, Collider has gone so downhill. Ahsoka trailer breakdown and heir to The Empire Rises. Oh my god. I love Rosario Dawson, but I really hate this messaging that we're seeing every single week from Hollywood that the matriarchy is going to take over. Then why, oh why, in the forthcoming live-action version of Ken and Barbie, is there a transgender woman in that film. I've already heard that there's some really bad messaging, like America Ferrara, who used to be ugly Betty, then she became good-looking Betty by the end of that series, apparently delivers a speech about the evils of money and men making lots of money because, oh dear God, capitalism is such a bad thing in 2023. Ugh. I know what you're thinking, folks. It is only April. We're not even, well, we're just about a quarter of the way through this year of 2023. And honestly, what I've looked back on has been so goddamn awful. I guarantee the Ahsoka show is going to be about the main character, a female, but it's not like Obi-Wan, if he was played by Antonio Banderas, where you'd sideline that character, bring in somebody like Reva, who, look, let's not forget about it, okay? Ingram Moses was a deliberate casting choice to appeal to a certain demographic who feel underrepresented in Star Wars, one of the most diverse universes that there are in film, comic books, and TV and video games. But apparently that's not to be believed. So what are Disney doing? They're tripling, they're quadrupling, they're quintessentially are just hammering home the diversity message. It's got to get through until you're absolutely sick of it. But we are sick of it because we're not spending money on it, thank God. So if you're on a D+ streaming platform, if I were you, I'd actually pull out as soon as I can. Again, what's with that phrase? And when I say it just sounds so dirty. And then of course you had Andor, which again was very female focused in its marketing. And yeah, just take a male character, just give us a bit of hope, but nope, you're going to sideline them where they become the guest star in their own TV show. That's pretty much the narrative going forward.
It's really put me in a position to make decisions that affect a lot of the women that I work with today that I think has made a huge difference. I mean, the fact that I can sit in a meeting and say, I think the protagonist should be a woman. Mm-hmm. I think that those are the kind of changes that are really, really important in our business. And that was the beginning. That was the opportunity that afforded me that position.
I think about Princess Leia in Return of the Jedi, and I think about Linda Hamilton in the Schwarzenegger film, in Terminator. I think for me, seeing those strong female characters play in a physical way is important. It was important for me, and it continues to be important. And what is great about Andor is the amount of female characters, the amount of female voices, and the diversity within the cast, so that hopefully many young girls and young boys can see themselves on screen.
And what is great about Andor is the amount of female characters, the amount of female voices, and the diversity within the cast, so that hopefully many young girls and young boys can see themselves.
Strong women do exist in Hollywood, they really do. Kathleen Kennedy's not one of them. Catherine Bigelow is certainly one of them. And there are some female heroes that I do like to enjoy from time to time. I wouldn't really call them heroes, more like women of action. Sarah Connor in the Terminator franchise. I'm talking about the Linda Hamilton version in the only 2 Terminator films that ever existed. And Brigitte Nielsen in Red Sonja. Thought she was great in that. Which reminds me, Matilda Lutz is going to be starring in a reboot of Red Sonja. I really hope that goes well. I'm hoping she's wearing the infamous or very famous chainmail bikini. I think she's a very based actress, Miss Lutz, and I think she'll do a great job at playing that role. Hopefully it's a role that will appeal to the fans and newcomers alike, and not bowing down to some stupid woke feminist agenda. And at the moment, folks, where Star Wars and Disney are concerned, it is all about the matriarchy being the most precious thing that we have in this divine universe, when we can all get along equally. But I guess men are toxic, men are foul, and we deserve to be buried 6 feet under. But of course, that ain't ever gonna happen, folks, because yours truly is here to fight the war against pop culture while discussing hot music, hot babes over a hot cup of coffee. So if you were me, and if I were you, you better come back for the next video.